All right, let's get into it. Today we are talking all about badminton. And trust me, its story is way more epic than you might think. We're going on a journey from a super simple, ancient pastime all the way to the high-intensity, high-stakes Olympic sport we know today. The transformation is, well, pretty mind-blowing.
I mean, who hasn't, right? You know the scene. A family get-together, a sunny day, just trying to keep that shuttlecock from hitting the grass. But that relaxed game you're picturing, it has an incredibly deep and fiercely competitive history that's anything but casual.
No, that's not a typo. We're talking over 2,000 years ago. The lightning-fast game we see on TV is the product of centuries and centuries of change, spanning continents, and starting with a goal that might really surprise you.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock, way back to the very beginning. Long before anyone was smashing winners or keeping score, the entire point of the game was just keeping that little feathered thing, the shuttlecock, flying.
So in medieval Europe, you had games like battledore and shuttlecock. The French actually had this beautiful name for it, jeu de volant, which literally means flying game. And in these early versions, it was all about teamwork, grace, and cooperation.
And this right here is the biggest twist in the whole story. The original game was a team effort. You and your partner worked together to see how long you could keep a rally going. Today, it's the complete opposite. It's all about hitting it so your opponent can't hit it back. A total 180-degree flip in philosophy.
So how in the world did we get from that friendly, cooperative game to the competitive sport we know today? And where did that very specific name, badminton, come from? Well, this next part of the story takes us to 19th century India and then back to England.
Okay, so here's how it went down. In the 1860s, British officers stationed in India started playing a new, competitive version called Pune. When they came back home to England, they brought this new game with them. And then came the big moment. In 1873, the Duke of Beaufort threw a party at his enormous estate, which was called, you guessed it, Badminton House. The game was a huge hit, and pretty soon everyone started calling it the badminton game. The name of the house literally became the name of the sport, and it just stuck.
All right, so it has a cool name, but a name doesn't make a sport a sport. The next step was absolutely crucial. It was time to build some structure and turn this fun party game into a real, legitimate competition.
This is where things get serious. You kind of need a recipe to make a real sport. First, you get the players organized. The Bath Badminton Club formed in 1877, giving it a home base. Then you need rules everyone can agree on. The Badminton Association of England published the first official rulebook in 1893. And finally, you need a big-time competition. That happened in 1899 with the very first All-England Championship, which is still one of the biggest tournaments in the world today.
So, with official rules and a major tournament, the sport was solid in England. The next logical step? Taking it global. And with that came the ultimate ambition for any sport, chasing that Olympic dream.
Now, you can't really go global without some kind of governing body, right? So in 1934, the International Badminton Federation, or IBF, was created, and its mission was crystal clear: just grow the game, everywhere.
So how big was this Grand International Alliance at the start? You might think a dozen or two countries, but no. It all started with just 9 founding member nations. 9 countries that came together to give the sport its first global leadership. And when you look at who these founding members were, you really see the early international appeal. Sure, you have England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, but you've also got Canada, Denmark, France, and even New Zealand in the mix right from the get-go. This was never just a British thing. But let me tell you, the road to Olympic glory was a long one. It didn't happen overnight. After a debut at the Commonwealth Games in '66, it got a shot as a demonstration sport at the Munich Olympics in '72. But it took another 20 years before it finally became a full medal sport in Barcelona in 1992. And just 4 years later, it made history again by adding mixed doubles, something you still don't see in many other Olympic sports.
So, once it hit the Olympics, who took over? Well, a few nations have really become badminton powerhouses. We're talking about countries like China, Indonesia, and South Korea. They've consistently churned out champions and have pretty much dominated the Olympic podium ever since. Okay, let's fast forward to our time. In the 21st century, the sport hasn't stopped evolving. It's continued to adapt, modernize, and spread its influence even further around the globe.
In 2006, the old IBF got a makeover. It rebranded to the Badminton World Federation, or BWF.
But this was more than just a name change. A year before that, it moved its headquarters all the way from England to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And that move was huge. It was a symbolic nod, basically saying, hey, the heart of modern badminton, it's in Asia.
And here's a truly fantastic moment in the sport's recent history. At the 2020 Paralympic Games, para-badminton made its official debut. This was an absolutely massive step forward for inclusivity, making sure the highest level of the sport is open to everyone.
The sport today is full of global superstars. Just look at the Tokyo Olympics. We had Victor Axelsen from Denmark winning the men's gold and Chen Yufei from China taking the women's title. It's the perfect snapshot of the sport today, a powerful mix of its European roots and its modern Asian dominance.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it's just an incredible story. Think about it. A game that started with the simple goal of not letting a shuttlecock touch the ground is now a blistering fast, high-stakes global spectacle that millions and millions of people love to watch. Which leaves us with one final thought. After 2,000 years of non-stop evolution, you just have to wonder, what's next? Will it be new technology that changes the rackets, new rules that speed up the game even more, or will new countries rise to challenge the current powerhouses? For the flying game, the next chapter is still waiting to be written.